Waterford 119, Cork 222. It's a huge win for the Rebels. It's a huge win for Cork. Cork very much back in the hunt in the Munster Senior Hurling Championship. They are alive. They are kicking well. They live up to the name of the Rebels with just a brilliant performance, a brilliant win from Cork. They live up to the name. They show that fighting spirit that has certainly been lacking for Cork this year. Let's be honest. Cork so far this year have flattered to deceive. They haven't been able to stick with teams. Defensively, they've looked all over the place, and they've just been very poor from start to finish. But today, they were brilliant. And look, in the first half, I don't think they were, at their brilliant best. You could clearly see there was still a couple of confidence issues there. Like they had 8 wides in the first half, as opposed to Waterford, who had 3. And I actually felt that going into the second half, that Waterford would step it up a gear, and they would be the team that would go on to win the game. But it wasn't meant to be. Waterford, very flat, poor performance from them. Didn't turn up today, and it's a big setback for Liam Cahill's men because, they obviously have that game against Clare coming up next weekend, I think it is. So there's no guarantee that they get out of this Munster Championship now, and all of a sudden, there's this result just really blows it wide open. Keeps Tipperary, of course, in the mix as well. Keeps them alive and kicking. They'll obviously be hoping for a Limerick. Well, I suppose it won't matter with Limerick or Clare. They're not going to catch them. But I mean, it just makes things very interesting now. It really does. And look, for Cork, Darragh Fitzgibbon around the middle was absolutely brilliant. 2 points on the day. He was tremendous. He stood up for Cork. Alan Connolly with 2 goals. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Cork sort of under 20 hurlers and, the underage players and, are they going to translate into the senior team? And, as much as people criticise Kieran Kingston, one thing he has done very well is bringing through a lot of young lads. Jack O'Connor, who's obviously come in. Alan Connolly's obviously now another one as well. He was obviously part of the team last year. Has been quiet enough this year by all standards, but a big goal, 2 big goals from him, especially that one in the second half. Lovely bit of work from Kingston to play it into Connolly, who just, brilliant swing of the hurl into the back of the net, and Cork from there building up a lead. And yeah, for Waterford, they were just sloppy. I don't know what it was. They just looked off the pace. They just didn't look up for it today. And I don't know if that Limerick defeat knocked the stuffing out of them. But all of a sudden, they've won 1 game and lost 2. And they weren't exactly brilliant against Tipperary either. They just about came through that. But Tipperary, with that late chance at the end, maybe could have nicked something there. So for Waterford, it looks like they could be in a spot of bother. Let's not forget Clare. Clare are a very good team, and I think they're going to give Limerick a really good run for their money. And I think Clare are, really going under the radar. So for Waterford, it's worrying times. It really is. And you didn't think that after their league after their league performances, how well they looked in the league. A number of barnstorming performances. I mean, they absolutely obliterated Cork, obviously, in that league final. But they just haven't really looked, up to their brilliant best. And just looking at their scores, nothing from Desi Hutchinson. He was very quiet. Austin Gleeson with 4 points. The red card, a little bit controversial. Be curious to know your opinions in the comments down below. I didn't see the first yellow card, but the second yellow, I mean, the replays were very inconclusive there. It didn't really look, from what I seen, to be a second yellow. But look, the referees and the officials obviously have a better view. And maybe, if I can get another replay, another look at it, maybe I'll change my opinion. But it did seem a little harsh, I'm going to be perfectly honest. But what you would say, though, is that Austin Gleeson didn't really appeal it. He sort of just walked off. So that kind of leads you to believe that there was something in there. But they just weren't quite at it. And I'm not too sure, it's kind of a hard one to put your finger on it. Like, they missed a lot of frees in the second half. They were getting a lot of soft frees, I felt. I felt like the referee, James Owens, didn't have his best game. Let's be perfectly honest. A lot of soft frees. Make no mistake about that. And it just wasn't quite there. And, maybe the atmosphere wasn't there. I'm not sure. A very hard one to judge from a Waterford perspective. And look, from Cork, big result, a big show of character in the second half to shut it out as well. Mark Coleman was excellent. He finished today with 2 points. Brilliant in and around the back. And defensively, just very good. Robert Downey, Damien Cahalan, these lads, I thought they'd done a very good job of just marshalling Waterford, at getting forward. Waterford were trying to, you see them play this style of hurling at times where they're trying to get overlapping runs from the likes of Coherick Daly or Jack Fagan. Jack Prendergast running off the shoulder, but it just wasn't quite working for Waterford. Cork were able to snuff them out time and time again, and win a lot of their own ball as well. A lot of brilliant catches towards the end. So just a really top class performance from Cork. I still think they have another gear to go up on, in my opinion. I think in the first half they weren't. They stayed in the game. They stuck in the game. Fitzgibbon was doing a lot of good work. They obviously get that goal from Alan Connolly as well. So they were doing a lot right, but I still think they have another level to go up on, in my opinion. But this result, much needed for Cork. And it certainly, from a neutral point of view, makes, the last day of the Munster Senior Hurling Championship very, very interesting indeed. It does guarantee Limerick a place now in the Munster final. And certainly for Waterford, a lot of work to be done for them. Dubs fan says some of the high fielding by Cork was a joy to watch. Well done to the Rebels. Yeah, absolutely. They were brilliant. The midfield pairing of Luke Meade and Darragh Fitzgibbon was excellent, like 3 points in total from them. Robbie O'Flynn, I thought, had a good game as well. He obviously, he's obviously the one who takes that shot for the first goal. Obviously a good save from Stephen O'Brien, but falls to Alan Connolly, who puts it in the net. So, he was making a lot of good runs as well. But yeah, that's how it finishes, 119 to 222. For any Waterford or Cork fans watching live or in the comments after the game, let me know, what does this mean for your county? I think this really does make things interesting, and I think Waterford could be in a spot of bother because they only have 2 points on the board, and they're playing a tougher team next weekend than what Waterford are, or than what Cork are. Cork are playing Tipperary, who, look, they'll be in with a chance now as well, potentially. So it really does make this very, very interesting. And, the worry was going into next weekend that maybe there was going to be a couple of dead rubbers in there. But now you're looking at it and thinking, all right, I think there's really a lot on the line. So, if you did enjoy this content, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. There will be a live watch along for the Dublin and Meath game, and I'll be watching Derry and Monaghan as well. So we'll be going live in just a couple of minutes' time. So if you want to switch over to that stream, feel free. So, cheers anyone who tuned in. Big win for Cork, and I'll see you all soon.